Picture this, it's 2030. You log into your company's all-hands meeting. The CEO is giving the quarterly update not from a sterile boardroom, but from a virtual reality space that looks like the surface of Mars. And they're not in a suit. They're in a hoodie with neon green hair because they're 28 years old and just closed a massive deal that morning. Your team lead pings you not about your timesheet because those don't exist anymore, but to check if you're taking your mandatory mental health day this month. Later, the board convenes to discuss a major investment. The decision isn't just about profit margins. It's equally weighted on the project's carbon footprint and its social impact score. Sounds like science fiction.
Wow.
Well, it's closer than you think. This isn't a random guess. It's a forecast based on a seismic shift that's already underway. So what will company culture look like in 2030 when Gen Z are managers and millennials are running the show? The changes they're pushing for today are the blueprints for tomorrow. Want to keep up? Watch now as we break down the 7 trends these 2 generations are creating that will define the future of work. And if you don't want to get left behind in the past, do yourself a favor and hit that subscribe button now to catch all our latest analysis. 1. Who will lead the future? First, let's get one thing straight. This isn't about wishful thinking. It's about demographics and power. By the end of this decade, the workplace will look fundamentally different for one simple reason: who's in charge. According to a 2025 Deloitte survey, Gen Z and Millennials are projected to make up a staggering 74% of the global workforce by 2030. Let that sink in. 3 out of every 4 people at work will be from these 2 generations. But this isn't just about sheer numbers, it's about where they'll be sitting. By 2030, millennials born between 1981 and 1996 will be in their late 30s and 40s. They'll be the senior managers, the directors, the VPs, and the C-suite executives making the big decisions. Meanwhile, Gen Z, born between 1997 and 2012, will be moving into their late 20s and early 30s. They'll be the team leads the mid-level managers, and crucially, the founders of the next wave of disruptive startups building these new cultural values into their company's DNA from day one. This means the power to set budgets, write policy, and shape culture will be firmly in their hands. The changes we're about to discuss aren't just polite suggestions for the old guard. They are the incoming operating system for the entire world of work. 2. Workplace culture and 2030 key features. So what does this new world designed and run by millennials and Gen Z actually look like? We've synthesized the data and identified 7 pillars of the 2030 workplace. Comprehensive flexibility and total digitization. The 9-to-5 workday is officially on life support, and by 2030 these 2 generations will pull the plug. Millennials fought for flexible work as a perk. Gen Z, the first true digital native, sees it as a fundamental right. The future workplace will run on a simple principle: as long as the work gets done, when and where you do it is up to you. Research from the World Economic Forum shows that 73% of Gen Z employees want permanent flexible work options. It's so important that Microsoft found Gen Z is 77% more likely to even look at a job posting if it mentions the word flexibility. This is enabled by total digitization, zero paper, everything on the cloud, and collaboration happening seamlessly across time zones. And get ready for the next leap meetings in virtual and augmented reality. The AR/VR market is projected to explode to over $450 billion by 2030, and it's not just for gaming. Companies will build virtual headquarters, conduct immersive training simulations, and collaborate on 3D product models in shared digital spaces. A Gen Z manager won't just adapt to this, they'll expect it. Prioritizing well-being and people. After decades of hustle culture, the pendulum is swinging back hard. Led by millennials who learned about burnout the hard way and a Gen Z that refuses to see it as a badge of honor, the 2030 workplace will treat employee well-being as a core business metric, not just an HR initiative. Mental health support will be non-negotiable, with 91% of Gen Z workers reporting mental health challenges and 61% saying they'd leave a job for better mental health benefits. Companies will have no choice but to listen. Expect mental health days to be as standard as sick days. Meditation rooms, company-sponsored therapy apps, and wellness facilities will become common fixtures. Millennial leaders scarred by their past struggles will design more humane policies. Think parental leave for both parents, widespread experimentation with a 4-day work week, and managers who are trained and rewarded for leading with empathy and actively preventing burnout. A culture of continuous learning. The idea of finishing your education and then just working for 40 years is dead. The 2030 workplace will feel more like a university where continuous learning and skill building are part of the daily routine. Both generations demand it. Learning and development is a top 3 reason they choose an employer. Why millennials have had to constantly reskill to keep up with technology throughout their entire careers, while Gen Z, the most entrepreneurial generation, demands the tools to grow. In practice, this means companies will invest heavily in internal mobility. Forget the rigid career ladder. Think of a career jungle gym. Employees will be encouraged to move laterally between departments to acquire new skills. We'll see dedicated annual learning budgets for every employee, robust mentorship programs, including reverse mentoring, where Gen Z teaches senior leaders about AI, and internal gig economies, where you can join short-term projects outside your main role to gain new experience. Flat structures and shared leadership. Gen Z and millennials share a deep-seated allergy to rigid top-down authority. They don't respect hierarchy for hierarchy's sake. They respect expertise. By 2030, many organizations will have dismantled traditional departmental silos in favor of agile cross-functional project teams. Your team might change every 6 months depending on the project. Leadership itself will become fluid. The person leading a project might be chosen for their specific expertise on that task, not their job title, and the role could even rotate among team members. The very definition of a boss will transform. Instead of a commander giving orders, the leader of 2030 is a coach and a facilitator. Their primary job is to assemble the right talent, clarify the mission, remove obstacles, and then get out of the way. As research from Stanford points out, they lead by building consensus, not by issuing commands. Diversity and inclusion 100%. For past generations, diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI, was often an initiative, a program, or a box to be checked. For millennial and Gen Z leaders, it will be the fundamental, non-negotiable bedrock of their company culture. This isn't just about optics, it's a core value. A Glassdoor study found that 76% of job seekers from these generations consider a company's DEI efforts before even accepting an offer. They are building workplaces where bringing your authentic self to work is the norm, not a slogan. Their definition of diversity is also the most expansive in history, going beyond race and gender to fully embrace LGBTQ plus identity, neurodiversity, and different socioeconomic backgrounds. A staggering 88% of Gen Z believe companies should ask for preferred pronouns during onboarding. By 2030, leadership teams will naturally be more diverse than ever before, with more female leaders, openly LGBTQ plus individuals, and ethnic diversity in the boardroom, simply because these are the people who will have earned their way into those roles. Social and environmental responsibility as mandatory. The idea that a company's only responsibility is to its shareholders will seem laughably outdated in 2030. For Gen Z and millennials, work is an extension of their values, and they expect their employers to be good global citizens. This means ESG, environmental, social, and governance will move from the corporate social responsibility department to the core of business strategy. No major company will dare to ignore its environmental impact, because the people in charge, from the team leads to the CEO, will see it as essential. According to Deloitte, nearly 9 in 10 young workers say purpose is critical to their job satisfaction. We can expect to see more carbon-neutral businesses, more transparent supply chains, and more companies actively engaged in their local communities. Profit will, of course, still be important, but it won't be pursued at all costs. These generations see themselves as cultural stakeholders, and they will wield their power as both employees and leaders to transform companies into forces for good. Widespread AI and automation, yet retaining the human element. The final pillar is perhaps the most paradoxical.
Wow.
The 2030 workplace will be saturated with artificial intelligence, but this won't devalue humans. It will make our uniquely human skills more valuable than ever. Gen Z and Millennials are comfortable with AI. Around 75% already believe it will significantly impact their jobs. By 2030, AI will likely handle most repetitive tasks, drafting emails, analyzing data, scheduling meetings, and writing basic code. But here's the twist. As AI handles the technical work, what becomes the premium sought-after skill, everything AI can't do. A landmark 2025 Deloitte survey found that over 80% of Gen Z and Millennials believe that in the age of AI, developing soft skills like empathy, leadership, and critical thinking is more important for career advancement than technical skills. The future workplace is a blend high-tech but high-touch. It will be a world where your ability to collaborate, to think creatively, and to connect emotionally with a colleague or client is your greatest asset. 3. Remaining challenges. Now, this vision of the future isn't a perfect utopia. This massive transition will come with its own set of challenges that this new generation of leaders will need to navigate carefully. First, there's the generational gap. By 2030, there will still be some Gen X and Boomer leaders in the workforce. The clash in values around communication styles, work ethic, and technology could be significant. The key will be fostering mutual respect and creating structures like reverse mentoring to bridge that gap. Second, there's the risk of a new kind of homogeneity of thought. When a workplace is dominated by like-minded generations, does it create an echo chamber? Could an over-focus on new technology lead them to dismiss valuable lessons from the past? Or could a culture that prizes alignment on social values become intolerant of dissent? Building and mechanisms for healthy debate will be critical. And finally, there's the challenge of finding a new balance. Will extreme flexibility accidentally erode team cohesion or discipline? Will an overemphasis on purpose sometimes come at the cost of the ruthless competitiveness needed to survive? These are the tight ropes the leaders of 2030 will have to walk. 4. Conclusion. So what's the bottom line? The future of workplace culture isn't a mystery. It's being co-created right now by the two largest generations in the workforce. It will be a culture that is more flexible, more digital, more inclusive, and more humane than anything we've seen before. The values that Gen Z and Millennials are fighting for today, from mental health support to corporate responsibility to genuine flexibility, are not just fleeting trends. They are the foundational pillars of the workplace of tomorrow. For every Millennial and Gen Z member watching, this isn't just something that's happening to you. You are the architects. You have the demographic majority. You are stepping into positions of power, and you have a clear vision for a better way to work. The responsibility and the opportunity is yours. We are the ones who will define what 21st century workplace culture truly means. Let's get to work and build the environment we all dream of together. Okay, that's our forecast. Now we want to hear yours. Look into your crystal ball. What do you think the workplace will be most different about in 5 years? Comment your predictions below. Who knows, you might just be right. And let's get to the important questions. Will there finally be an official dress code for wearing shorts in Zoom meetings? We need answers. Thank you for watching our entire Workplace Culture Gen Z versus Millennials Explainer series. We hope it gave you some valuable insights. If you found this video helpful, do us a huge favor and hit that like button, and be sure to subscribe to the GenShift channel so you don't miss out on our next deep dive. Thanks for watching.